Let me do something dangerous here. Thank you very much, Minister, and thank you, members of the media, for coming today. Let me see how far I can go with this. This morning, I had the opportunity to meet the chairman of the Election Commission and members of the commission over the ADHERE Conference Center. I was very happy to see the count or the recount taking place at various stations. And I received some comments about the pace of that recount. I was also able to meet members of the CARICOM team who also made some remarks about the work that they are doing here in Guyana. As you know, throughout 2019, and definitely since the 2nd of March, I've made it clear that my government will continue to abide by the Constitution. It will respect the rulings of the court. It will await the declaration of the Elections Commission. And most recently, particularly after the elections, we will rely on the role of the Caribbean community in the recount process. That's what I call the 4 C's: the Constitution, the courts, the Commission, and CARICOM. I'm very confident in CARICOM's ability and integrity. And I'd just like to repeat what the ambassador of Barbados to Washington said, that CARICOM is the most legitimate interlocutor on the Guyana situation. I'm inspired by that remark, and I share the sentiment that CARICOM is the most legitimate interlocutor on the Guyana situation. CARICOM was here before, as you know, and CARICOM is a reliable partner in our development. And they are as concerned and as competent as anyone else to do what they've been invited here to do. I invited 5 prime ministers: Barbados, Grenada, Dominica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm obliged to work with the CARICOM team to ensure that we provide a satisfactory outcome to the challenges which were made to the elections of 2nd of March. So I'm very happy to be here at the ADHERE Center and to be across here to meet with members of the media. Some issues have been raised with me, and to the extent that I have the influence, because I cannot intrude, the chairman of CARICOM was present, and we expect that some of the concerns which were raised will be dealt with by the Commission in its own authority. So this is all I would like to say now about the election process. We would like to bring the process to a speedy conclusion, but a correct conclusion, so that the people of Guyana can be satisfied with the outcome. Whatever happens, we have learned that there are changes which need to be made in the Guyana electoral system, so that never again should the people of Guyana have to wait this length of time to hear the results of the elections which were held on a particular day, on the 2nd of March 2020. It's much too long, and I believe that, given the circumstances, the measures which have been put in place will bring the process to a satisfactory conclusion. And that is all I'd like to say by way of my opening remarks, and I'd just like to invite any.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I see Julia Johnson.
Take it down.
Mr. President, sir, you just met with the people at the conference center. You spoke about the issues that they had. What are some of those issues? And my second question would be to you. You have always spoken about the credible election. It was fair. Given what has been coming out of the conference center, the observations made by especially your party representatives, would you still determine, or would you still say that those elections, the elections of March 2nd, were credible? Or are we talking just the process?
I would say that the elections were well managed and were orderly. Whether the results are credible is to be determined. And that is the job of the Elections Commission. They were conducted in an orderly environment, and they were free of violence until I think the 5th or 6th of March. Some incidents, particularly in Bad Settlement and in other places in West Berbice, where school children were injured. But on the 2nd of March, the reports were that the elections were conducted in a peaceful and orderly manner. It would be premature for anybody to say whether the results as of 2nd of March were credible. That is what we are here to determine, whether the results of the count, that's why a recount is necessary, to determine the credibility of the ballots which were cast on the 2nd of March.
Please go ahead. No, please go ahead and identify yourself.
My first question, you did.
No, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Julia.
My first question has to do with the issues coming out of the conference center when you met with the parties, that GECOM and your CARICOM people.
The issues were raised with me in confidence, and it was a privileged group, and it would be unacceptable for me to respond to that unless the chairman herself and the commissioners were given the opportunity to hear those issues and to deliberate. I don't want to preempt her decisions, but I would say that two particular issues were raised, and the chairman will address those issues in the fullness of time. They are not issues which at this point in time should be subject of public debate until and unless the commissioners themselves have had a chance to speak.
Julia, can I ask us to go to Iva? I know she's had a question.
I just need a clarification on the Mr. President. I know you went there as the president, but you're also head of the health ordinance that you proclaimed the other day. I know you delegated responsibility to Minister of Health. Were you speaking with the GECOM? I know they have issues about increasing the workstation. Were you speaking to them in that capacity as the person who made the proclamation, the health ordinance proclamation?
No, there's no serious.
She's trying to find out if you were, as president and head of the task force ultimately, if you were speaking to the person at the convention center, at the conference center, about that particular matter, extension of workstation.
And the issues of extending the workstation, health implications.
No, that is not an issue. The public health issue is not one of the issues that came up. Even as nothing about the NCTF task force came up, the issues were procedural, not about the matter that we. So.
Thank you, Iva.
Mr. President, CARICOM will decide that it's the most legitimate entity to address that situation. Your government will set a task conference in CARICOM dealing with the matter. But yesterday we had the opposition leader saying that CARICOM cannot address the matter I continue to call for the return of the practice center to bring credibility to the process. There is an attempt to undermine the role of CARICOM in solving regional matters.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs has responded to the Carter Center. She's responded to the United Nations Senate. She's responded to the U.S. Ambassador and explained the position of the government of Guyana. And everything she has written is in accord with the policy of the government of Guyana. The elections were held on the 2nd of March, and we welcomed all of those observer missions. We know that the Carter Center is friends of Guyana. We don't have any problem with the Carter Center, or with the EU, or with the OAS, or with any observer mission that we welcome to Guyana. But since the 2nd of March, the public health situation has changed drastically all around the world. And all we ask is that new requests should be viewed in light of the changed public health situation. That is a matter for the government of Guyana to decide. As of the 16th of March, 5 days after patient 0, Ms. Babulat, we promulgated a set of measures, and this was followed up on the 3rd of April. And this was followed up every single week. The ministers, not as a cabinet, but as a council, meet to deliberate on those measures. And we take those measures very seriously. We can see what has happened in very developed foreign countries. And we are very careful, and we ask people to respect the emergency measures which are being implemented by the government of Guyana. So there's nothing about credibility. The CARICOM team is competent. And I am very confident that the work that they will do is up to international standards. And I don't disparage the CARICOM team. I'm not dismissive of their efforts. I went to a lot of trouble. I hosted the Prime Ministers of Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, St. Vincent, and Trinidad. And I would like to see that mission succeed. So that is where we stand. What the Minister of Foreign Affairs has written and spoken is government policy. And I would like people to respect what he has done and abide by the measures which the government of Guyana has implemented. Every week, we have enhanced our counter-COVID measures. We have introduced something called the REAP, Regional Entrepreneurial Agriculture Program. We've introduced a program to speed up agro-processing. We've been dealing with the education problem, getting children back to school. Every single area, public security, we've been dealing with public infrastructure, social protection. Every single minister is involved in the counter-COVID campaign, not just the task force. We take it very seriously. We ask other countries to take our efforts seriously.
Starbuck News and then Chronicle.
Marcel Thomas from the Starbuck News. Sir, you emphasize credibility and that the final declaration comes from GECOM and it's their authority. I want to know if GECOM finds that these elections were not credible, yet your party is declared a winner. Would you accept that winning, or would you vote for new elections? The same as if you would have lost to that declaration.
I cannot answer that question. The Election Commission is a constitutional authority, and I am doing everything possible to ensure that constitutional authority could discharge its functions. I cannot speculate about an outcome which I am not aware of. The Commission has authority, and I cannot envisage a situation in which I would counter or ignore the rulings of GECOM. A minute ago I said I abide by those 4 C's and the declaration of GECOM. As you well know, within hours of 2nd of March, people were saying all sorts of things. And I've always said I will await the declaration of the chairman of GECOM. And I can only iterate that today, the 17th of May. I'll await the declaration of the chairman of GECOM. I cannot say what GECOM will determine. That's why we are all here at the Artichoke Center and the Aquatic Center to await the completion of a process committed to the recount of the ballots which were cast on the 2nd of March. But I cannot speculate, I cannot surmise.
And you
Chronicle?
wouldn't give what, just to follow up,
Sorry?
you wouldn't give what your actions would be should whatever
You cannot
decision
speculate.
come. Is that what you're saying?
Madam, I cannot speculate, I cannot surmise.
Chronicle?
Madam Marshall from the Chronicle. We've noted your response with respect to the Carter Center, but there are allegations that suggest that your government may be stymieing the work of GECOM or the electoral process using COVID as an excuse. How do you respond to that? Given the options that were made available to CARICOM when they were granted permission to come here.
The government of Guyana has been promulgating a variety of measures since the 11th of March, when Ms. Babulal died. COVID is not an excuse, COVID is a reality. And we don't have to use COVID, a pandemic, which has already killed thousands of people all around the world, as an excuse. It is not, something whimsical. It is not bad weather. It is not. It's a fatal disease, and it's not an empty excuse that we have invented. And if it is the considered judgment of the government of Guyana that certain measures should be enforced to protect the people, that is my duty as president, to protect the people of this country. I don't understand that any country in the world can use COVID as an excuse. COVID is the worst public health crisis for 100 years. That's not an excuse.
So we have 2 final questions, Demerara Wave and then Kaito News.
Mr. President, that was Demerara Wave from Southwest. Sir, to what extent would your coalition accept the results coming out of the recount as the results to declare the winner of the elections?
Thank you for the question, Demerara Wave. I would like to iterate that whatever declaration is made by the chairman of the Election Commission would be regarded as legitimate by the coalition government.
Kaito News.
But already, sir, Mr. Basil Williams yesterday said that to make a declaration outside of the 10 already declared results would be illegal because there's no legal basis for using the count results. How do you respond?
As president of Guyana and leader of the government, it is my policy that any declaration coming from the chairman of GECOM will be accepted by the government of Guyana. I speak for the government of Guyana.
Kaito News.
Mr. President, given what you've just said, would you say that there will be no formal challenge legally to this recount process? And are you still maintaining that your party has won the election?
My friend, I can only iterate what I told Demerara Waves a few seconds ago, that whatever declaration comes out of the chairman of the Election Commission would be regarded as legitimate and in accordance with the Constitution.
Thank you very much, members of the media. Special thank you for your patience this morning. And thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.